Hello, friends and fellow benders. Thank you for joining me once again here on Rolling Solo RPG. Today we are going to be continuing our Avatar Legends playthrough. As I mentioned before, I am extremely new to this system, so I'm basically playing through the sample adventure that was given with the starter set, just to kind of help me grasp the rules and figure out what I'm doing and how to do it. That being said, Avatar Legends is actually, when you break it down, a very simple game. So hopefully I can play it that way. Last time we left our brave companions just as they were boarding the Fire Nation vessel that is going to sail them to the outer waters of the island of Crimson Sails. There, they need to find the supplies. We don't know where they are. Not even I know where they are. I have a few key locations. I think we're just going to trickle through them. I'll roll some dice, see if they're there, whatever needs to happen to find them. Once we find them, return them back to the Fire Nation. Then our little sample adventure is complete, and that will complete our prologue. So our companions are now boarding the large Fire Nation ship. The kind and well-dressed woman that was along with them in the carriage ride opens the door, and she says to our companions as she graciously invites them to exit the carriage, "This is the ship Sho-Shung. Please follow me aboard." As our companions ascend the ramp onto the deck of the ship, they see crew members hustling about, moving crates and securing ropes. The lady escorting our companions from the carriage to the ship says, "This is Captain Saizu." She bows to the captain. She turns to our companions, bows once more as she descends the ramp to get back into the carriage. Captain Saizu, with his arms behind his back, turns to our companions, gives a gracious bow. "As your escort said, I am Saizu, and I am captain of this beautiful ship. Her name is Sho-Shung. She is the pride of the Fire Nation Navy. Every inch is polished to a shine." Our companions look around, and they can see two separate groups of crew members mopping and cleaning different parts of the deck. "Now, you are only going to be on my ship for a very short amount of time, so I will spare you the speech I give to all my crew members. But know this: you will respect my crew, the ship, and my authority upon it. If this does not suit you, then you may leave now. Any insubordination out on the sea, and I will not hesitate to throw you overboard. Have I made myself clear?" Now, Fire Lord Zuko has tasked me with bringing you to the outer edges of the waters of the Crimson Sails Island. Once there, you and your vessel, as he gestures over to a small wooden sea craft that hangs over the side of the boat by ropes. It's a good 10 meters long with a simple center mast and a sail, and what appears to be a small area below the deck, maybe big enough for 2 people at a time with a little bit of cargo. Captain Saizu continues, "Once there, you and your vessel will be lowered into the waters. After that, you will be on your own. I am sure you have been warned of the pirates, but I will do so again." He turns and faces out toward the sea. "They are more ruthless and depraved than they have been in years past. I do not know what has changed, but watch yourselves out there." He turns back to the companions. "Now just through that door and down the stairs will be your rooms, 15 and 16. You can decide who bunks with who." Our companions turn and just kind of like look at each other, like, "Oh, We weren't under the impression we were going to be grouped together. We're all strangers. Well, with the exception of Kola and Honu. Captain Saizu finishes by saying, "We will be leaving dock soon, so if you are still up for the task, make yourselves comfortable. It will be 2 days' travel until we reach the target coordinates. Meals will be at sunrise and at sunset. If you miss it, you go hungry. You are dismissed." And he clasps his hand behind his back, gives a quick, respectful bow, and he goes back to commanding his boat. Our companions stand on the deck of the ship, staring at each other, knowing that the next decision they need to make is who is going to bunk with who. And you know what I think they're going to do? Roll the dice. The two highest numbers this time. The two highest numbers this time are going to make a mad dash down the stairs to the rooms to see which rooms are what. So, two highest numbers. Wow, okay. A 3 and a 3. That is going to be Honu and Kola. Okay. So I'm thinking that, being as they're the ones that know each other, they didn't necessarily grow up together. They're not related. They're not brother and sister kind of thing. Honu was not necessarily adopted, but in a way, she was like taken in by Gaia. So I feel like Honu and Kola do have a little bit of that sibling like rivalry between them. So they both look at each other. Honu kind of smirks a little bit, and they both take off, racing towards the doorway. Boom! They kind of like shoulder check each other as they get through the frame, and they race down the stairs. Hei-Shing and Shi just kind of turn, look at each other, and they mosey on down as well. So, I believe Kola and Honu, neither of them are going to want to share a room with one another. So each of them have, by the time Hei-Shing and Shi make their way down to rooms 15 and 16, Honu is in one and Kola is in the other. Now we need to decide who is going to room with the other one. So since we are only doing Hei-Shing and Shi, we're going to roll 2 dice. But whoever rolls lowest on this has to room with Kola. Oh, they tied! Tiebreaker! Come on! Okay, so that is Hei-Shing. Hei-Shing is gonna room with Kola, the angsty, whiny little boy. Whereas she gets to room with Honu, the icy waterbender. So our companions find their way into these very, very tiny rooms. I mean, it's kind of like a submarine where, yeah, there's rooms, but it's basically a closet. So they find a place for their stuff. They settle in a little bit. They know they're only going to be on here 2 days. So they kind of make their little cots. We need to figure out what time of day it is. So 50-50. Is it morning? 43, yes. So it's pretty early in the morning. They met with Fire Lord Zuko at first light, and they made their way down here. So it's only been an hour or two since then. The sun is just coming up, which means they missed breakfast. Hopefully they had breakfast before they met with Fire Lord Zuko. The ship leaves dock. The anchor comes up. Captain Saizu gives the orders. Full steam ahead. I don't know if it's actually a steamship or not. I'm sure it's powered by fire bending somehow. Probably coal burning, so I would say it probably is steam driven. And they head for open waters. We need to find a way to spice this up, I'm thinking. So morning time goes by fine. They reach noon, and then on into the evening. Now, just before the sun is getting ready to set, the cooks are all in the kitchen area getting the meals prepared for the sunset dinner. Let's roll a random event because we need something fun to happen. Let's roll a random event, which means we need an event focus. And the event focus is 31, which is an NPC action. All right. Now, which NPC and what action are they going to take? So we're going to roll a d4. Again, anybody that's seen some of my other videos and knows I don't like the triangle, the pyramid shaped d4s. They just roll weird in my opinion. So I'm going to roll d8, cut it in half, and that's going to tell us which column we're going to roll from. Okay, 1. That was easy. And then we roll a d10 to determine which character it's going to be. And that is going to be 4, Captain Ninka. All right. Already starting off with the, in my opinion, she's going to be the big bad of this little starter set campaign here. So Captain Ninka, what does she do? She takes an action, therefore we're going to roll on the action table. 52, imprison. Okay, this is making a little bit of sense already. And 72, imprison plot. Okay. Okay. What can I do with that at this point in time? Prison plot. Well, our whole plot. Okay. I tell you what. Prison plot. I'm not sure what to do with this. In my mind, I'm thinking our plot is to find the stolen goods. And if she's imprisoning the plot, I'm thinking she's going to hide the treasure, the cargo, in a prison cell. I mean, who would look in a prison cell to find gold and riches? I mean, that doesn't make sense. That's actually a really good idea. All right, not necessarily engaging to our companions currently, but that is what we rolled, so we will go with that. So evening time comes around. One of the crew members kind of shouts with the megaphone to tell everyone that dinner time is ready. Our companions all gather in the mess hall. Many of the other crew beat them there because they know the drill. The best food gets served in the beginning. They come around with their trays, they get the food filled, and they go and find a spot and they sit in the cafeteria to eat their meals. Now, I'm thinking this is a good time for our companions to kind of get to know one another a little bit more. So I'm just going to have our two groups of roomies, kind of conversate with each other, figure out a couple things about each other, and then I might call it there. I'm already going a little bit over just because I know I talk about nothing. So literally all that's happened is they got on board a boat. Time passed, and now they're eating dinner, right? That's one whole episode. Regardless, let's get our companions talking to each other. So let us start with Sho-Shung and Cola. I believe Cola is going to initiate the conversation. So he's scarfing down his potatoes on his plate and looks up for a second. In his mind, he thinks, maybe I should get to know my roommate. I mean, I don't really like this guy, but I guess maybe I should learn something about him. At least give us something to talk about instead of sitting here awkwardly. So he turns to Sho-Shung and says, So it's Sho-Shung, right? Yeah, my name's Sho-Shung. Me, dum-dum. Yeah, my name's Sho-Shung. Well, where are you from, Sho-Shung?
I'm from the northern part of the Earth Kingdom. My family was scattered because of the Fire Nation's war.
I didn't really ask for that in-depth of an answer, but thank you for doing so.
What about you? Judging by your clothes, I'd say you're from the Water Tribe. And you're a waterbender, so I guess there's not much guessing to do. The only real question is, are you from the north or the south?
I'm from the south. It's really lame down there. Ugh. So boring and cold, and there's just ice and water. But that's why I'm venturing out on my own. Well, I thought I was on my own, except my mother sent Honu to watch me.
I could tell that there was something between you two. I figured. Older sister, younger brother.
What? No, no way. I'm not related to that monkey-faced baboon. Ugh. She just bugs me. She doesn't let me do anything. All right, I got a question for the fate chart. Does Hei Xing offer to show Cola something fun? Now, I already know what this something is, but I'm going to say it's very likely because I kind of want this to happen. So 26 on a very likely is a yes. So as Cola kind of finished his sentence, he takes another bite of his food. And Hei Xing kind of drops his head, looks down at his food, looks over at Cola.
Hey, Cola. You want to see something cool?
I mean, yeah, I guess. Depends on what you mean by cool. And Hei Xing grabs his napkin off the side and he scoops some of the food into his napkin. A good amount of food, too. Pretty much the whole, pretty much whatever is left on his tray. And he kind of ties it up and he stuffs it in one of his pockets in his baggy clothes.
Come with me.
And they get up and they walk out of the mess hall, which leaves us to come over and see what Honu and she are talking about. Honu's gaze is on Cola the whole time. Now, this is just before Cola and Hei Xing have gotten up. So Honu's gaze is fixed, not necessarily staring directly at him, but even looking down at her food. Her eyes dart back and forth between her tray and Cola. And she, our firebender she, takes note of this. So Honu, I can't help but notice that you pay a lot of attention to Cola. May I ask what that is all about? Does Honu answer? I'm thinking it's likely. Ooh, 02 extreme yes. What is it with me and him? Well, I can tell you all about it. As she's she's not even looking at she. I'm thinking she looks over at she for a second as she's talking, and then her gaze goes right back to Cola. You see, she's just gonna spill her guts now with that extreme yes. She's just gonna tell it all basically. So she explains to she that, well, you see, I went through a rather tough upbringing, and I was taken out of that upbringing by a very brave and very talented waterbender named Gaia. She has less than reputable career path. She turns and looks at she and gets a little bit quieter. She's a pirate, Gaia. But that doesn't say anything about her character. She's strong, confident. She's everything I aspire to be. I knew a little bit of waterbending before I knew her, but she has expanded my element so tremendously. I can never repay her for what she's done for me. But of course, but she had a son, Kola, over there. He was much smaller when I first joined their group. While he is extremely bratty, very entitled, and doesn't deserve even an ounce of what his mother gives to him, I owe it to Gayu to watch and protect him, because that is her wish. So now you know the reason I'm so intent on watching his every move. Not only is he an idiot who will do stupid things, like try to steal from the Fire Nation. I don't know if you heard, but I am the one that turned him in. I knew if I could stop him now, perhaps I could cushion the blow of what reality is going to do to him, because he doesn't understand the world. Fire Lord Zuko was gracious enough to give him a pardon if he completes this task. And she, the firebender, cuts her off. Oh, yes, I know. Isn't Fire Lord Zuko so forgiving and gracious? He's honorable, and it's just... she kind of continues, and Honu cuts her off. Yes, Fire Lord Zuko is very compassionate. It seems. But I don't know. But I do have some reserved feelings for firebenders. There's no offense to you, Shi. I do not know you, so I will not make any presumptions on you. But enough about me. What about you? Where are you from? Why are you here? What made you decide to help Zuko? Since you seem to be so fond of him, what made you so fond of him? Ooh, now she... Okay, is she gonna open up to Honu? I'm gonna say that it's actually unlikely, because she needs to be a little bit secretive with hers, because it's kind of like part of her tradition. Oh, 85 on an unlikely. It's not an extreme no, so she does not open up to her, but she's... Well, you see, it's kind of a long story, but Fire Lord Zuko really helped out. He really helped out my community, and once I was of age, I left in hopes to return that favor to him, and this is just the beginning of what I think I can accomplish if I could join his ranks and prove to him that I am what the Fire Nation needs, and I can spread my light to all corners of the Fire Nation, and all corners of the world, in fact. And if I could restore the honor and bring what the Fire Nation could be to the Earth Nation and the Water Nation, and I would say the Air Nation, but I believe the Avatar Aang is the only known airbender left. But still, if Fire Lord Zuko intends to rebuild the reputation of the Fire Nation, then so shall I. Honu just kind of nods. That's very endearing of you. I wish more people shared your enthusiasm. Alright, so the camera is going to cut back to Kola and Hei-Shing as they ascend the stairs. And Hei-Shing motions Kola to follow him over to the edge of the boat. And Hei-Shing kind of hangs over the side of the railing and looks down into the water. And he gives a little whistle and a little... Kola walks over next to him, leans over as well, and just kind of staring down. And it's almost completely dark now. The moonlight is the only form of light down here. And just the ever so shimmering... And the moonlight just kind of reflects off the top of the water. And just a few moments later, Kola can see the large head of a mongoose lizard come up out of the water and take its claws and climb up the side. Now, this is a large creature, large enough to hold at least 3 or 4 people on its back. And very gently and slowly climbs its way up to Heishing. And Heishing turns to Kola and just kind of smiles. And he says,
This is Balbo. He is my mongoose lizard. He has been following us since we left dock. He is my pride. I raised him since he hatched from the egg. You see where I come from. We are protectors of the wilds. And every member of my family has had a mongoose lizard before me.
and Heijing reaches into his pocket and grabs the little handkerchief filled with food. He unties it and just basically dumps the whole thing down as the mongoose lizard's mouth is just wide open, and he just gobbles it all down. And then he kind of pats him on the head, gives him a little bit of a rub on the cheek, and then he gives him the and then he kind of gives him a little, and the mongoose lizard like instantly just kind of like all four legs release off the side of the boat as he turns and dives into the water. Not even a splash or a sound. And then he kind of swims back up, pokes his head up, almost gives a smile, if he could smile, and goes back underwater. And Cola just, whoa, that was pretty cool. Thanks for showing me that, Heishing. Maybe next time I could feed him.
Perhaps, but he does not warm up to others quickly. But perhaps with time, before this mission is over, it will be my mission to allow you to feed Balbo. It will be my mission to allow you to feed Balbo.
Oh man, I don't know. These voices are killing me, but I'm gonna stop it there. I'm almost at an hour, and not much has really happened. But thank you guys if you're still watching for sticking around. All right, we're just gonna dive into this head first next time. I think we're just gonna arrive to the island, even though we still have one day left. I'm not gonna stretch out this boat ride more than I need to. I did want to get the companions to kind of at least talk to each other, and we have done so. And I wanted to introduce Balbo. That was nothing I made up. That's actually on Heishing's character sheet. So he has the feet mongoose. Well, the feet is called Yip Yip. So you have an animal companion large enough to ride. When you fight beside your animal companion, mark 1 fatigue to become favored on an exchange. But at the bottom, this is why I know he's a good sized one. When you and your friends travel via your animal companion, everyone clears all fatigue. So he's at least large enough for all 4 of them to ride on. Whether that would be comfortably or not is another story. But all of this is going to be a story for another day. Again, thank you so much for watching. I'm going to call it there, and I will see you next time. Goodbye, friends.